The global analysis presentation of the country of Denmark, presented by Lee Almond Bennett, Cynthia Hickel, Tanya Hurd, Charles Minter, and Kevin Holdman. Our analysis will consist of the political, economical, socio-cultural, technological, environmental, and legal aspects of Denmark in comparison to the United States. The four cities that are most populated in Denmark are Copenhagen, which is the capital, Aarhus, Odense, and Aalborg, and have seen a steady increase in population growth due to the strong commerce and job market, drawing an international pull as well as retaining domestic populace. The Danish government is based on a parliamentary representative democracy, a constitutional monarchy, and a decentralized unitary state in which the monarch of Denmark, Queen Margrethe II, is the head of state, where she has served since 1953 as the first female monarch. This monumental and historical change paved the way for Danes to be open to a new idea of gender equality for political power distribution as they elected their first female prime minister in 2005, where she has served for the last decade. Denmark is described as the nation state. The current prime minister socio-cultural aspects of the Danish people. Denmark is reported by Freedom House to be the least corrupt country in the world, which may also be coincidentally why it is also reported to be the happiest country in the world. Denmark also receives high marks from the Corruption Percentage Index, where once again Denmark is the least corrupt, beating out the United States by 17 slots. There are many contributors to Denmark's recognition of excellence in their dedication to eradicating corruption. They have a high level of government effectiveness with a system of balance of power, ensuring that no party or group can be influenced or influenced too unilaterally. Secondarily, Denmark has an extremely low level of violence and terrorism and a high level of stability. This brings us to the people themselves, the Danes. What makes them so happy and their people so uncorrupt? Let's dig into their socio-cultural framework and find out. Hofstede's dimensions compare Denmark to the U.S. in four major areas: power distance, individualism, masculinity, and uncertainty and avoidance. Denmark tends to lean towards a collaborative culture where open dialogue is encouraged, whereas we see the U.S. a bit higher in the area of power distance, suggesting that Americans are less encouraged to give opinions and more likely to obey policy as is. In the area of individualism, they come closer to mirroring the culture of the American average, however. The United States still values individualism about 20% more. In the masculinity rankings, Denmark places a lower value on competition than the U.S. by a significant stretch. But who's competing? Finally, in the area of uncertainty and avoidance, Danes tend to do better than Americans with ambiguity and uncertainty.
The economic system of Denmark. The Danes enjoy a high standard of living, and the Danish economy is characterized by extensive government welfare measures and equitable distribution of income. The Danish economy is a paradigm of a socialist political system. Well-to-do citizens enjoy capitalistic free market benefits, while poor citizens enjoy the welfare of a socialist economy like free healthcare and education. Many U.S. politicians believe that Denmark is a model of equality and social welfare that the U.S. should follow. However, in the socialist utopia, paying for all these benefits, Danes are more heavily taxed than Americans. In Denmark, the total tax revenue is 50+% of the economy size, compared to 25.4% in the U.S. Comparing the Economic Freedom Index of the United States and Denmark shows that both countries are relatively free. The United States is currently ranked at 11 and Denmark is ranked at 12.
Economic recovery has been fragile and the GDP per capita is still below its pre-crisis level. Although gross national income has received a boost from favorable term of trade developments, sluggish productivity growth continues to be a challenge. Denmark's GDP growth rate rose to 0.4% in 2016 from 0.1% in 2015. According to the World Bank, Denmark's GNI per capita was last measured at 47,810 in 2015. The level of FDI in Denmark is far below the country's potential, but has been increasing in recent years. Despite the challenges facing Eurozone, estimates was done in 2015 which indicated the FDI inflows are over Euro 3 billion, which is an increase from 2014. Denmark is both an important investor in foreign countries and is highly dependent on foreign investments. Denmark's inflation in November 2016 was 0.4, while the United States is 1.69. Denmark's currency is the Danish krone. It is also pegged to the euro. In December 2016, Denmark's foreign exchange reserve had reached to 59.5, and in previous months it was 61.2. In February 2015, the foreign exchange reserve was at an all-time high of 109.1 and
Currently, both Denmark and the United States have fairly stable unemployment rates. However, you'll notice in the late 2000s, the economic downturn caused both countries issues. Denmark ranks 18th in both economic complexity and GDP per capita out of 185 countries. Out of 220 countries, Denmark ranks 35th for imports and 39th for exports. Denmark is a net exporter of food, oil, and gas. Denmark's main imports are machinery and miscellaneous manufacturing goods. Now let's compare trade to the United States. The United States ranks 5th in economic complexity, 11th in GDP per capita, 1st in imports, and 2nd in exports. Let's hear from two 2016 U.S. presidential candidates.
In Scandinavia, like Denmark, Norway, Sweden. In those countries, healthcare is a right of all people. In those countries, college education, graduate school is free. And in those countries, by and large, government works for ordinary people in the middle class.
I love Denmark. We're the United States of America, and it's our job to rein in the excesses of capitalism so that it doesn't run amok, but we would be making a grave mistake to turn our backs on what built the greatest middle class.
The Human Freedom Index. As you'll see, Sweden and the United States are amongst the most free countries. This Human Development Index chart shows that Sweden has now overtaken the United States in this department. With access to quality and free healthcare, the life expectancy in Denmark is approximately 80 years. The idea of welfare for all is actually causing economic instability in Denmark. Royal family grandchildren's salaries to be stopped. In the 1940s, the cost of raw material imports hurt the economy. Educated citizens are making bigger salaries while the middle manufacturing jobs are disappearing. Rising income inequality hurts economic growth. An aging population.
Technology. Investments in research and development. Denmark is among the top 10 OECD countries for investment in research and development, accounting for 3.08% of their gross domestic product. Research is an important building block for Denmark and is well positioned when compared internationally. This is important to Denmark's government as they continue to become better at translating new knowledge to developing new solutions and products, while also maintaining a high level of research in areas such as green tech, biotech, pharmaceutical sciences, telecommunications, IT, and design. They are a world leader in clean technology with focused energy policies that has placed them at the forefront in the development and use of renewable energy. They are a first mover in IT with an excellent digital infrastructure and high IT penetration that make them an ideal test country for new information technologies. Software companies in Denmark enjoy great success, and today the nation is an important European hub for companies such as Microsoft, IBM, HP, and Google. Denmark is also a biotech frontrunner and a major world player in areas such as bioengineering, enzyme research, CNS research, and cancer research. Danish researchers continue to be among the most productive in the OECD in producing scientific publications. They are ranked third after Switzerland and Iceland for the number of publications in relation to the size of their population. Environment. According to the Environmental Performance Index of 2016, Denmark is ranked fourth in the world among 180 countries globally. Denmark's strong commitment to the green transformation makes Greater Copenhagen an outstanding testbed for sustainable smart city solutions and changes the patterns of production and consumption, growth and development. In its bid to introduce more sustainability into the city, Copenhagen has applied different smart solutions. For example, a complete modernization of the sewage system has allowed for an improved water quality while opening a public harbor bath. An underutilized part of the city center has now become a strong urban recreation space. Cycling is a part of urban planning and design, allowing for a low-expense, quick, safe, and convenient way of getting around. Denmark has also invested on an efficient, reliable, and highly integrated public transport network, making the levels of congestion and pollution one of the lowest of the major international cities. Copenhagen has been able to send less than 2% of waste to landfill. Half of the waste is recycled, and maximum use is made of waste to generate heat for the city's district heating network. In 2015, Danish wind turbines beat the all-time world record, supplying wind power equivalent to 42.1% of Denmark's total electricity consumption. This is the largest share ever in Denmark and in any other country in the world. The country has a national climate goal of covering 50% of Denmark's electricity consumption by wind power by 2020 and to become completely free of fossil fuels by 2050. Denmark is deeply dedicated to the green transformation and in aiming to become the world's first carbon-neutral capital by 2025, with Copenhagen as
the District Court, the High Courts, and the Supreme Court represent the three basic levels of the Danish legal system. But the courts of Denmark also comprise a range of other institutions with special functions. The Danish legal system is based on the so-called two-tier principle, which means that the parties to a case generally have the option of appealing the ruling of one court to a higher instance. The higher court could then either reach the same conclusion, uphold the ruling, or change the ruling. Most cases begin at district court level with the option of appealing to one of the higher courts. If the case was initially heard at district court level, it may, in special cases, be brought before the third and highest instance, the Supreme Court. In 2014, the Research Division of the Ministry of Justice published a report showing that among the 47 countries of the European Council, the citizens of Denmark have the highest level of confidence in their courts, a level of confidence that has even increased over the past 10 years. Since the adoption of the Danish Constitution in 1849, the decision-making power in Denmark has been divided into the legislative, executive, and judicial branches. The principle of a three-way separation of power and the independence of the courts of law help ensure democracy and the legal rights of the country's citizens. The courts of Denmark are committed to following the principles regarding openness and transparency. Denmark's strengths are a strong rule of law, low unemployment rate, low corruption rate, in which it's ranked number 1 of 175 countries, strong property rights protection, and a flexible labor market. Some of its weaknesses are a high tax burden and high household debt. Among the opportunities are an open economy, intellectual property rights are protected, second lowest corporate tax rate in the EU, inexpensive land available, vast resources of natural gas and oil, and it's highly regarded as a happy place to live. Some of the threats are the European economic crisis and its